Welcome to another regarding Bangladesh episode of the Blathering Boomer, and another I've had two fascinating interviews with Syfullah, and I have a feeling this one's going to be right up on the par with all of them. This is very informative for all of us, including myself. We need to learn what's going on there. The brave people of Bangladesh have spilled a lot of blood, and it needs to not have been in vain. And there's things happening there that the world's not aware of, and we are here to raise some awareness. So, without further ado, I'm going to hand the microphone over to my friend Syfullah and take it from there, sir.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for having me on. And I thank everyone on the Brotherverse as well for joining us on this fight, however futile. So, yeah, it's good to be here. Good to be with you again.
You've given us a really good history of how we got here. From 1971 to now. So these reports I want to do in kind of three phases. Where we've been, where we are, and where we might go. So right now we are in the where we are phase, and I know you've got a lot of stuff to present. The one question I do want asked though is just in general, what's the difference in life in Bangladesh now versus before August of 2024? So I'm gonna shrink myself and raise you up and give you the microphone. Take it away, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, yes, life is very different. It's almost like what happened before and after COVID in the global stage. So there is a new normal. There's a new normal in Bangladesh right now where it's normal for a girl to be abducted, molested, mutilated, sometimes murdered. That's very normal right now. So just from January to March of this year, so far, we have lost the lives of. Uh, I'm sorry about that. I mean, it's not really it's not really the, it's not really my most favorite topic to talk about. Yeah. So just from January to March this year, so far, 245 women were raped, and of them, 79 of them were under 12. So 79 girls, 79 minor girls under 12 who did not even reach puberty, they have been raped. And the others are obviously older than 12 and of different age brackets, but hey, they're all women and they're being raped. Some of them are murdered. I would like to show a video, difficult for our viewers to keep watching, but please stay with us. So you see this girl, she's hanging from the tree branch with her feet on the ground, her feet almost up to her knees on the ground. So if she hanged herself, she would not die in that position. Yeah, she would have to be hanging. Her feet will need to be in the air. So she definitely did not inflict this upon herself. She was grabbed, she was molested, she was murdered, and then a suicide was staged. They just hanged her to the branch, and they did not even make the effort of making it look authentic. They're like, okay, just hang it there, they will buy it. So yeah, this is what is happening. This is the new normal in Bangladesh. This is the new normal in Bangladesh. So yeah, that's what is happening. That's what is happening to our girls, and that is that if if anyone wants, they can find parallels with the Iranian regime stoning girls for not covering their head. They can find parallels with the Taliban regime in Afghanistan, who are burying women alive up to their neck or up to their waist in the ground and then stoning them. So yeah, that's the direction they're taking right now. So the idea is harm the women enough so that they go back to their homes. They do not come out. So that's what is happening there.
So this is being done. This is being these are horrible atrocities. Who's perpetrating them, and what's their purpose in perpetrating them?
It's the Islamists because they always had that mindset that the women are put on the face of earth just because of three reasons. They will feed their man, they will breed their man's children, and they will cater to all of their needs. That's it. They will not they will not assume any kind of empowerment. They will not have financial freedom. They will not have a vote. They will not have a say. They will be treated as subhuman. That's the whole concept of these Islamist jihadists. Whereas in Islam, Prophet Muhammad used to work for one of his wives. He was the employee of one of his wives, who was a successful businessman, his very first wife, to be precise. And his wives took up weapons and went to war with him side by side. But these Islamist jihadists, I do not know which branch or which brand of Islam they are upholding right now, but yeah, their version of Islam wants women back in the home, stuck to the kitchen, and to revolve and to have their life revolve between the bedroom and the kitchen.
And this person Yunus, who apparently has taken power there,
Mhm.
is he like trying to make Bangladesh under Sharia law? Is he an Islamist, or is he just tolerating the Islamists and not doing anything about it
Um,
passively?
he is tolerating and using them. This is the you scratch mine, I scratch your situation. So the reason he came to power, the reason he assumed office, was because after the vacuum that was created on 5th of August, after after the prime minister left the country to stop the possibility of a civil war and to stop more loss of lives, she took a step back and left the country, and there was a vacuum of power. For 3 to 4 days, there was no government in the country. There was the executive branch, but there was no government in effect in the country. So Dr. Yunus came in and assumed office. He was not even in Bangladesh, he was in France. And he was sanctioned by a labor court for dodging taxes, and he was supposed to pay around 6.5 billion taka, which translates to some $1 million. Yeah, so we're looking at around $500 million. He was supposed to pay that fine. He was fined that. He was fined it by the court in Bangladesh, and as a condition of assuming office, he had that fine waived first. So the court voided that verdict, and then he came into Bangladesh and assumed office. And one of the first executive decisions and steps that he took included making his organizations tax exempt up until 2029, his own organization. So yeah, he's good to go for 5 years. So the reason he was brought in, because he did not really have a political identity. So he's a Nobel laureate, he's an economist, the entire world knows him, albeit for different reasons. But yeah, so he is globally acceptable. So they put him there to avoid the void that we had in the power structure. And in return, he got his fines waived and his tax exempted. And by putting him there, the Islamists, they're running amok right now. So he's overlooking it.
So that clearly, at least on an economic level, he's guilty of extreme corruption, if nothing else. But the question I have for now is: were women safer in Bangladesh under Hasina than they are today under whatever is governing the country?
Oh yes, definitely, definitely, definitely. There are women. There are women students who actually took the streets to oust Hasina, and they celebrated when she left the country. Couple of months later, they came up saying that at least during Hasina, I could be outside of my home up until 10 p.m. And right now, I'm being catcalled at 8 a.m. in the morning. Those very women, they had been admitting this. Now, for a very conservative third world society in Bangladesh, in most of the cases, any kind of sexual violence or molestation or violence or crime towards women, the victim is blamed more than the aggressor. So, in most of the cases, the victims don't come forward. They're like, okay, whatever happened, happened. Let's not lose my face in the society. Yeah, so not all the instances are being reported, obviously. Still, we have more than 200 women raped in a span of 3 months. So that's, I mean, if you, there's more than two a day. There's more than two reported every day. So 90 days, 200. So there's almost like 2 to 3 women every day reported. So if you look at the numbers that are not reported or did not even come close to the radar of the news media. So yeah, I mean, it's bad. It's bad for the women.
Right. Yeah.
And
I
there
just
is,
wanted to. I just wanted to establish that this has not been going on systematically since 1971. This
oh
is
no,
this
oh
is
no, oh
a new
no.
thing since 2024 with the new regime.
Yes.
Because my whole thing here is, I don't have an agenda. Hasina, Yunus. I mean, obviously, all the information that I have points to, while Hasina perhaps wasn't a perfect ruler, certainly she was better than what they have under Eunice, and obviously, to me, rape is actually worse than murder. It's horrible. So my agenda isn't some. I've said it many times. If somebody who actually thinks that Eunice taking over was a good idea, I want to hear from them and hear their side of the story. But absent that, what I do want to say is, whether it's Hasina or Eunice in power, I'm for the Bengali people. I want what's best for the people. It's not me, some white guy from Brooklyn living in California, to decide who should rule. But
Mhm.
it is for me to say, and as loudly as I can in the small platform that I have, is that there is suffering happening in Bangladesh, and it's because of a political takeover there. And again, my whole goal in this is to get your voice elevated to a larger platform. Anyway, please go on. I have a for some reason they call me the blathering boomer. I wonder why. I
Yeah,
just
why not?
blather
Why
here.
not?
So I'm going to
Why
shrink
not?
myself up and give you back the floor. And please tell us more about what you want to tell us about what's happening with women in Bangladesh these days.
Yeah, so now that is the local picture, but there is a broader picture in it as well. So the broader picture in the sense that uh, with all the new tariffs and everything, the Chinese exports are being somewhat stopped right now. This is being disturbed. So someone somewhere is working towards a new global supply chain. I do not know who, I do not know how or where, because that's way above my pay grade. But one of the biggest strengths of Bangladesh economy was our RMG sector. Yeah, so this RMG, ready-made garments business, it brings in almost 80% of our foreign exchange reserve. Yeah, so we sell close to everyone. So for denim, like our denim trousers, Bangladesh is the number one producer in the world, just for the denims and everything else. Yeah, we make them as well. We make shoes, we make leather accessories and everything else. Now, this industry, majority of the women, majority of the workers are women. So if someone somehow can put all the women back in the houses, this industry is just gonna fall flat on its face. And there will be other forces somewhere else who would be picking up the pieces. Because, of course, people will need clothes. Someone will have to make it.
So the intimidation of women has an economic motivation behind it. It's not just attacking women for the sake of attacking women. There's actually an agenda to
Oh
try to
yes.
shift the garment making business to something other than what it's been. All right,
Yeah,
I get it.
yeah. And Dr. Yunus is completely overlooking it, and he is aligning with his old friends who put him there, who gave him congressional medals and everything. And right now, his national security advisor is a U.S. citizen. He's chairman of the Constitution committee. He put up a committee who is gonna do constitution reforms. He is also a U.S. citizen, and he teaches at Illinois State. His name is Mr. Ali Riaz, and he just wants to throw out the term secular from our constitution. So this is very interesting, like how a faculty member of the Illinois State University is going to a third world country and throwing out secular out of the constitution. And I was looking for a contact, for some kind of contact details for the president of that particular university, to ask him how he feels about this, about one of his faculty members going halfway around the world and doing this, but I could not find him, obviously. Yeah,
Well,
so
I
deep
mean,
down,
okay.
that's what is going on.
If I recall from our first conversation, the desire to be a secular nation was one of the main principles behind the 1971 uprising, that or
Exactly,
revolution.
exactly.
So
Yes.
basically, that would be like somebody taking over the country here and
Uh-huh.
throwing and saying, no, 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 we don't want the Bill of Rights anymore.
Yeah,
So yeah, all right, I could
yeah,
just keeping it clear.
yeah. No more Bill of Rights, just the Old Testament. Yeah, so like I mean, we were liberated in 1947 as the Islamic Republic when the British left us. But we decided that no, the Islamic Republic is not our way to go forward, and we liberated ourselves again on the basis of secularism. But
Right.
a lot of people in the world did not like it, obviously. So yeah, back to our women. I would like to share some news headlines. I just did one Google search, yeah, with the keywords Bangladesh, violence on women, and news. I just hit that. Now, obviously, I got a lot of Bengali articles, which you cannot really read. I understand. So I made some screenshots. I made some screenshots of our English news media houses, and if I could show that, yeah. So a 7-year-old was murdered after being raped. There are international NGOs who had been good friends with Dr. Yunus and everyone else because obviously Dr. Yunus is also in that business. They are being forced right now to speak up. Like, enough is enough, Dr. Yunus, do something about this. But Dr. Yunus is busy elsewhere. This person, I believe you remembered that news that some university employee charged a girl on the street based on her clothes, what she was wearing. The girl pressed charges and he was arrested. And then the Islamists, as you see around him, they stormed the police station and they released him. And they forced the police to release him, and they welcomed him with garlands, flowery garlands, and a copy of the Quran, like as if he is the new Messiah or something. He's basically a closet rapist who goes around moral policing women's clothes, nothing different from the morality police in Iran. In this instance, someone posed as a lawyer and told the lady that he has a legal notice to hand over. She tried to, she tried to uh, make a people on the crack the door a bit so he can pass the paper through. He sprayed some chemicals on her face, on the lady's face, and pushed through the door and entered the house. And the rest is, well, you can imagine. So on our On our public transport subway system in Dhaka, there are no Dhaka is a very crowded city. Dhaka is a very crowded city. Officially, we have more than 230 million people in a city that you can drive end to end on an empty day in within half an hour. End to end, you can drive in half an hour, 40 minutes if you're on the slower side. But we have more than 230 million people officially in that city. So on our public transport system, on our metro trains, on our metropolitan trains, like your subways but overground, we have separate carriages for women because it will get crowded. People will be standing on each other's toes. So yeah, let's put the women on a separate carriage. So a group of men, they pushed their way into the female carriage, and that's what happened. They molested a young child in that moving train. And when all the women were getting vocal about it, they left the carriage. And that happened a long time back. That happened a long time back. Yeah, so this was a follow-up article, but it is a long time back, and we still do not know of anyone being arrested for those charges. And here, as what I was talking about, our female garment workers, they are coming out right now. They're coming out to protest what is being done to them. In just 1 month, 117 women were victims of violence. And these are official numbers. Official numbers are always smaller than what the actual number is, regardless of the country. We all know that. So, yeah, that's what is happening. Our women are being put to the toughest test that a woman can, or I cannot say they can endure. No, no one can endure this, but this is going on.
So the people who are protesting now, I'm not saying this to be funny at all, but there's an expression: "Be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it." This is not what they wanted, obviously, but this is what
Now,
they're
that's
getting.
the thing. Like, before you go out asking for something, you need to know what you are asking for. You need to know what you are asking for. Yes, the biggest problem that Sheikh Hasina had was the curse of being the incumbent. She was in the office for 16 years. So most of the people who went out on the streets were like, in their late teens or very early 20s. They did not see anything other than the rule of Sheikh Hasina. Yeah. And whatever happened before she assumed office at the end of 2008 is not really well documented because we did not have social media or YouTube or anything else or any kind of freedom of journalism. So people call her a fascist because apparently she was stifling the freedom of speech and everything else. People could not talk. I would like to ask them this, just politely ask them this question. If she did not let you talk, how did you talk amongst yourselves and organize?
Right. Good question. Good question.
Yeah, so yeah. But
Yeah.
anyway, so what I was saying, so these young people, I mean, yes, there are some of them who are completely brainwashed and completely radicalized, and then they actually need help, but they're like 3% of the entire population. They mobilize the other 97% to come out based on a lot of lies, lot of fabrications, lot of provocations and propaganda. Yeah? Now, we need to save them from them. That we cannot do that before if they all just get if like half of them gets raped and the other half gets indoctrinated. We cannot do that. Now, these children, they did not see anything else other than the regime, other than the reign of Sheikh Hasina. So I remember when I was taking my school finals in our country, we had to go to some other school to sit for the exams for a sort of neutrality. So yeah, whoever was running the exams, we did not know them, they did not know us. So we had to go to some other school. Yeah, so I remember going for my own examinations with candles because chances are the electricity will be out and I will need the candles to write my papers. Now that happened again almost after 15 years. This year, that happened again. So these kids, they don't even know what power outage is like. Like every day, 2 hours on the clock, they don't even have a clue. Yeah,
Right.
so these girls, they went out protesting Sheikh Hasina, and now they are being forced into forced into their houses. Of course, they'll be forced into their houses because they have shown what they can do. The current regime is not gonna run the risk of letting them do it again. So yeah, use the oldest trick in the book: sexual violence on women.
Right. Right. There are parallels to what's happening in America. You know, we had Donald Trump was president, and people were freaking out. Oh my God, he's horrible, he's horrible, and that got us Biden, who a lot of people would say were worse than Trump. So the people who support Trump were freaking out. Oh my God, we can't have Biden, we can't have Biden. Now we have Trump again, and the people who wanted who don't like Trump are out there freaking out in the streets. But the point being, you know, a lot of these people who are protesting the way they're protesting, and especially the ones who are out there wearing the keffiyehs and saying queers for Palestine and all this and all that, they have no either they're completely stupid or they have no idea what their life would be like if they actually got what they wanted. And it's a shame, you know. There's a line from a great song by the Who called "Won't Get Fooled Again," and the line is "Meet the new boss, same as the old boss," and it
Yeah,
goes right with "Careful what you wish for." But you know, certainly the idealistic people who thought that Hasina was a bit too oppressive. Um, I only hope that this gets survived. Again, I'm not advocating for Hasina. I'm not advocating for Eunice. I'm advocating for the Bengali people, and it sounds very, very clear that things
yeah,
need to go back to where they were. Yeah.
and as I showed you, this is not just a local game anymore. I have shown you ex-US diplomats going to Bangladesh and fraternizing with people wearing the kifaya.
Right. Right.
Yeah, so it's not just a local game anymore. Maybe things more sinister are brewing closer to your shores than ours. Because when you see US diplomats, albeit ex, retired or something, hanging out with people who sympathize with Hamas or groups like that in a distant corner of the world, it does not really bode well for the USA, does it?
No, and it's clearly driven by economics and not by ideology, not by any kind of caring about the population ideology. So
Yeah,
you know, it's if we follow the money, it might go to a place that we don't like. And
yeah.
yeah. Anyway, I want you to continue if you have more to continue with. I don't want to interrupt you, so I'm gonna shrink myself back again and give you back the floor.
So, as I was saying, and there are Bangladesh is a country of music. It's a country of poetry. Yeah, Bangla is a so Bangla is such a musical language. So in English, you have 26 characters in your alphabet. 26 characters, and sometimes you mix one, two, or three together, and you make a different sound out of it. And that different sound that varies from dialects to dialects. Like, the British, they say it in one way. The Americans, they do it in one way. The Indians, they do it in a completely different way. South Africans, Australians, they all have their ways. In Bangla, we have 49 characters. We specifically identify every single sound that a human mouth can make. So every single sound a human vocal cord can come up with, we have a letter for that. Yeah, so we are a very musical language. Bangla is the language of, they say French is the language of love because they did not hear Bengali love songs. Right, yeah. So music had been a part of our Bengali life, all our lives. We are brought up with music. Yeah, music is in our soul. But right now, yeah, so on this video, you see a group of ladies being punished through humiliation. They are made to hold their ears and do sit-ups, which is the very South Asian punishment. It's the idea is to punish through humiliation. You are holding your ears and you're doing sit-ups. What is their crime? They practice folk music. So yeah, that is why they are being rounded up in the darkest hour of the night. They held flashlights of their mobile telephones and they're filming it. And their crime is that they practice music, folk music. So they're trying to reap everything Bengali, that is that echoes with the Bengali soul, the Bengali culture. They're trying to reap everything away from us. That is going on right now. And obviously, like every struggle, like every war, every kind of revolution, the women are getting the brunt of it.
It's horrible. It's you people spill 3 million souls spilled their blood so that your country could have independence, secularity, your own language, and freedom to make your own choices. And for no good reason, this is being taken away by forces that are against all these things. And you the Bengalis have been crying out for a very, very long time right now, and nobody's hearing them. Nobody's hearing them, and
Nobody is.
it's
And
just so
fun fact, one of your congresspersons, what's her name? Miss Umar, Ilhan Umar. She was also raising her voice against Sheikh Hasina, and she was siding with this particular group of people. Yeah, she was calling to sanction Bangladesh just 6 months back. So not
the
six, 8 to 10 months back. Yeah, so I just do not understand what the Democratic Party have against us. What did we ever do to them?
the Democratic Party have, in my opinion, a very warped view of oppressor versus oppressed. And maybe Ilhan Omar had a warped view of oppression under Hasina, but again, you if Hasina wasn't perfect, she's guilty of imperfection. But what's happening now is guilty of actual evil. And I'm very hesitant to say evil, but I think once you cross into rape, again, to me, rape is actually worse than murder. You know, you kill somebody, they're gone. When you rape somebody, they have to live
They
with.
die every day.
Yeah, yeah, they die every day. So this is absolutely horrible. It's pretty. You know, again, while it may be unclear to me, although it's becoming less and less unclear every time we speak. Um, anyway, we're not going to get into looking forward in this particular part of our series, but we will be covering that later. Today, we're just focusing on the now and what's been happening with women. And do you have more you want to add to this?
No, I mean, I do not want our viewers to subject to more of this. I do not know what is going to come out of the other end of this. I do not know how the Bengali psyche is going to be changed after this. I do not know how much of the national soul we are going to lose after this, because every action has its reaction, right? So the amount of hate that is being practiced right now, the amount of violence that is being inflicted on just as on one group of people, just because you do not agree with them, or you do not agree with their God, or you do not agree with their gender. What will happen if the tables turn? Because this kind of violence, this kind of hatred, nothing good can come of it. And something that you mentioned earlier, that follow the money. Yeah, so I I have been asking these questions, like, so all these students, they came out on the streets to protest the job reservations because they are unemployed, they're broke, they cannot afford anything, they're facing certain economic uncertainty and everything that comes with it. Who was funding this revolution then? You were broke, you were unemployed, you definitely don't have money, right? So who funded you?
Right.
Who kept you fed and well treated and everything? So I was asking them this. I was warning some of them in July, in last July when this is going on. Whoever would listen, whoever I could get hold of, I was warning them, like, dude, you are being misled. Whatever is happening right now, I was warning them then, like 9 months back. This is gonna happen. This is what is waiting for you on the other side of this. They're like, no, we do not care. He must go, and then if the next one comes and doesn't work properly or things get worse, we'll get rid of them too. I was asking them, who's gonna fund you?
Right. As I said the very first time we spoke, I'm solution oriented, and it boggles my mind. I can't process a hopeless situation, and I just can't allow myself to think this is hopeless. But again, that's not a discussion for now. That's for our when we get to the future. We'll try to come up with some ideas for how perhaps this could happen. But that's not where we'll go. Right now we're focusing on the present, and I think you've done a masterful job, just as you did with giving us the history. You've painted a masterful picture of present life for women. I know we're going to focus on other areas as well in the present and different segments. We'll be posting one of these once a week for the next several weeks. This will be the first. Um, so again, if there's nothing else to add, we can wrap this one up.
Yeah, let's
Uh,
do that because if someone needs to see more of what we showed already to understand what's going on, they need medical help. I'm sorry, like no one can want to watch more of this what we showed already. And mind you, what I shared with you, this is the watered down videos. I did not, I did not show you any, like, decapitated women yet. There are women being found under bridges with heads missing, with hands, with arms missing. Why? So you cannot identify them. They're cutting the fingers off, they're cutting the head off, and just dropping the torso somewhere. Happens every day.
bottom line, if you're horrified by what you saw, just try to imagine what you haven't seen, because it is so much worse. I've seen some of it, and I can't unsee it. So, and again, it's part of why I'm doing this. I no decent person should know about this and stay silent. So here we are.
Anyway, thank you for having me on, and thank you for giving our plight a voice. And let's hope we can save our girls from what's being done to them,
Yes.
because they need all the help. They need all the help in the world, and some more, and
Okay.
some more. The evil that is hunting them right now, the evil that is crashing them under its claws right now. They need all the help in the world and some more.
If people don't know what's happening, they're not going to do anything about it. They might not do anything about it anyway, but they need to know what's going on, and this is why we're doing this. And I'm very grateful for you sharing all of this. I know it's very hard for you because you're from there. I could take a more a more surgical approach to it, or because it doesn't affect me directly, except that it does affect me directly, because it's just piercing my heart seeing some of the stuff and feeling helpless to not be able to do more to help it. So all right, we'll wrap this one up.
Yeah,
The
let's do that.
boomers have blathered, and the reason we're doing this is to spread awareness. So please feel free to share this far and wide. I want people to know what's going on in Bangladesh.